guys, stick around till the end because I'm going to go over sort of a high level counter to an armbar escape. This is a very, very kind of, I would consider it highly advanced. So stick around to the end, or obviously if you're watching it after, you could always fast forward, but hopefully you watch the whole thing. So I wanted to continue the topic of sort of armbarring people, or kind of making sure you get the submission off at an armbar where the guy is countering or escaping properly. Well, last week we did from the guard. This week I was going to continue with the top side control. By the way, guys, this, even though it's a gi episode, the way we do this is exactly the same gi or no gi. So if you're a no gi guy, don't tune out. Continue to watch because it's exactly the same, and it works especially well against people that are really good at escaping arm bars. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but I am known as a bit of a king of arm bars. We have a couple of other people. Frankie's the prince. We have a couple of people that I would consider the Duchess or so forth. But anyways, so guys, what I was going to do is continue with the top side armbar sort of follow-ups, unless you guys have live questions. Live questions take priority. What do we have?
said, happy Friday, good morning,
What's
Fox
up, guy?
Brazilian family. And Aliyah said, good morning from Istanbul.
Aaliyah, when are you coming back? I know soon, but anyways, guys, so let's start with this. And so one of the things is the far side armbar. Guys, by the way, if I'm doing the far side armbar, I'm looking for the guy to kind of turn to me, and I'm looking for the underhook. Now, a lot of people do this. They pop up and then go in. This creates a lot of space. Don't do this. Because a good guy, you basically allowed him to potentially escape before you even attack the armbar. So when you're doing this, you just stay down. Stay down. Don't fight back. You can fight back, but then it's gonna. So guys, when I go for the far side armbar, I use my chest to make sure he doesn't go too far to his knees. I make sure that he stops where he is. I'll post and I'll slide in on my knee, not too close to his back, about a foot away. And try to go perpendicular. This gives me a really good finishing chance. So this is how I enter. Now, most common escapes, especially here where I don't have my left leg over. And by the way, if you bring this over now, if I start to lean and bring this over, this again opens up my legs and allowing him to potentially a better chance to escape. So you could see the more I fall sort of lined up with PJ, the easier it is going to be for him to escape. So I want to be perpendicular. Now, the most common escape is hitchhiker, and then if that fails, go to reverse hitchhiker. So right now, PJ is starting to go into hitchhiker. If you do this well, guys, you immediately apply his elbow against your left inner thigh, and that stops him in his tracks. So when he tries a hitchhiker escape, I can stop most people pretty much immediately. Now, if you kind of asleep at the wheel and he starts to get too far, I'll bring out my right leg and immediately go into a very strong Omoplata. So usually that's how I counter the hitchhiker escape. It's immediately either applied to the inner thigh and usually stops people in the tracks, or if he gets too far, I switch to Omoplata, and that now it's very, very strong. Do we have any questions so far? Everybody's happy with the topic?
Yeah, GM Baseball said good morning, and Alad Sapir.
What's up? What's up,
correct,
guys?
But he said, hey guys.
What's
and
going on?
Aliyah's giving me tips.
Say it again.
Aliyah's giving me tips.
Oh yeah? What are some of the tips, or we should not be sharing them? Guys, sometimes you don't want to know how the sausage is made. It's believe it or not, it's this is kind of interesting because it's live. So if I screw something up or PJ screws something up, it is what it is, and you're gonna see it. Usually when we do a reel, sometimes I have to keep names in mind, and that's if I screw up the name, it's just I gotta toss it out. But if it's live, It is what it is. So let's look at sort of how do we deal with sort of when the guy tries to switch from hitchhiker to reverse hitchhiker. If you follow the tips that I'm giving you, one, slide in on your knee rather than pop up to your feet. Two, when you drop in, aim for a perpendicular to him. If you don't know what that is, you need to go back to school, but it's like a T, okay? Then his chances of escape are going to be much more limited than if you violate one of these two tips. You don't want to kind of get, you're in top side control, so you want to make sure you're precise. Because if I'm top side control, I drop in for a crappy armbar, and now usually the guy escapes and he's on top. That's a problem. That's on you. That's not on them. So you need to make sure that you, again, keep those two things in mind, which usually will allow you to finish the guy even if they start to defend in time, okay? So, again, I'm top side control. I control PJ's head. As I kind of don't control it, I don't control it real tight. I don't want to keep him flat. I actually, when I'm top side control, guys, this is the benefit of watching things live, because as things come to my head, you actually benefit from me explaining to you what I'm doing top side control. So I don't want to be holding the guy like this. That doesn't get me any closer to finishing him. So I want to limit his movement, but I also want to have him move in a way that allows me to isolate his arm or his head. You can go from top side control into the legs, but that's a bit foolish. Generally speaking, when I'm past his hips, past his legs, I will attack the upper body. Obviously, you have all the, with the gi, you have, Kanto chokes, which is one of my favorite. We've covered that before. But today we're talking about the armbar. So a lot of times, as I sort of start to, I sort of keep heavy, and I'm in. I have the underhook. I drop my chest to make sure he doesn't go too far. You don't want to be here, because now, yeah, he could potentially wrestle up. So I want to stop him with my chest. Now I start to move around, post, and notice how I slide in. Again, two things. I am not popping up to my feet. I am sliding in, and I'm aiming for a perpendicular. This gives you a really good shot of finishing. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it faster this time. Stop moving. So, this is how I do it. Done. You notice that I'm already countering. Most often, they will go hitchhiker first, because reverse hitchhiker is not there. They tried to go hitchhiker first, so I'm already countering hitchhiker escape. This is done. Right? Now, again, if he starts to, I can stop him pretty far into it. If he actually goes all the way, I'm just going to let him, and I'm going into a very strong Omoplata. So that's how we counter the hitchhiker. So when you do this well, the guy knows that he can feel the tightness on his arm. So basically, a lot of people will double back into reverse hitchhiker. What that means is, so hitchhiker is basically when the guy goes for the arm, you let him go, you almost let it go, and you try to escape. When you feel the tightness, you double back, and you basically try to change your arm and pull the elbow out. Again, we're out of time already? All right, guys, we're going to take it up. Unbelievable. We're going to take it up on the, on the app in more detail. But at least let me show you at least once how to do this, because it's very important. So this time, so as I'm dropping in, he goes hitchhiker, real. So usually if it's tight, start to sit up. No, start to sit up and pull your elbow. This should be almost impossible. But if he actually manages to pull his elbow and starts to come towards you, what I'm going to do is I actually pull this. And now I wind up in this alternative back take where I can either bring this leg over and finish, or actually if he lays down, I actually triangle and finish. This is a high level response. This is against guys that are kind of very good at playing those angles. We're going to go into detail on this on the app. Guys, if you don't have the app, you get 3 free days to play around with it. So if this is a topic that interests you, get the 3 free days and play around with this topic. Guys, by the way, we have a date for the Florence camp. By the way, guys, Florence is in Tuscany region of Italy. Because people were asking me, I thought you said it was in Tuscany. Yes, it is in Florence, which happens to be in Tuscany. July 30th to August 3rd. Okay? And the weekend before that, I'll be in southern Germany. So hopefully I'll see one of you guys there, or maybe more than one. Let's go to the app side. I will see you next week.